Welcome to Zandvoort in the Netherlands for the second round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Benelux. 3 races this weekend, 2 short races and 1 long race. And Koen Waters, teammate of the reigning champion Jeffrey van Hooydonk, is already looking forward to it. What makes the Porsche Cup so special? Well, it's very special that everybody drives the same car. And there's no ABS, no traction control, and you have to take very much care of your tires, because the driver who manages his drivers as the best will be the fastest at the end of the race. And all that together makes it a pretty difficult championship, but that's why it's interesting. Start of the first race then with Jeffrey van Hooydonk on pole position, Xavier Maassen next to him. And Jeffrey van Hooydonk just moved before the red lights went out, I had the impression. So Van Hooydonk taking the lead from Xavier Maassen. Looking back from the car of Van Hooydonk now. Maassen in the blue car right behind him. And then it's Jurgen van Hover in the green and white car. Followed by Olivier van Oosten 5th. And this is Fred Capras, one of the challenge drivers for the Mark 1997 Porsches. This is Max van Splunteren, who had an awful start. The engine died right before the lights went out. So now Van Splunteren has to try and catch up with the leaders. Still Van Hooydonk leading from Maassen. And here is Van Hooydonk. But there's bad news for the reigning champion. That was indeed a false start, and Van Hooydonk has to serve a penalty. So Maassen now in the lead. Pretty comfortable lead, because Van Hover is almost 10 seconds behind by now. And Max van Splunteren trying to overtake Olivier van Oosten, the Thames Racing Porsche. Nice move there from the Dutch youngster. Up to 3rd now, Van Splunteren. Here is Fred Capras fighting with Wim Mulders for a challenge honours. Ooh, and Capras almost collides with Mulders, but just manages to avoid the green Porsche. And Capras can rejoin, but Mulders is gone by now. And here's Van Splunteren. Press past Van Hover now, is in 2nd position. There's Van Hooydonk already back up to 4th. Van Splunteren into the Schevelaar corner. Ooh, and that's a tire that exploded. And Van Splunteren goes off. And that's the end of the race for Van Splunteren, and he will not be happy about that. And another puncture, is it? For one of the Turkish driver, for Cey Sakar. And Maassen cruising to victory in this first race over 25 minutes. A great win for the Allure team Porsche. So a good win for Maassen. Yeah, very exciting race. I didn't have a perfect start because I had to behind Jeffrey, but he had to move before the red lights went out. So I put him under pressure. I had a good car. And then Jeffrey came into the pit lane. Apparently that was a penalty for the jump start. And after that it was a pretty comfortable race. My lead was big enough and just had to make it to the finish. Jeffrey van Hooydonk came into 2nd. Yeah, the start wasn't that perfect. I had a small move before the lights went out. And then I was surprised by the clutch. Actually, I better had made a practice start, but I wanted to manage the clutch. So it's my own mistake. So I tried to rectify it afterwards, and I came back to 2nd position. But at the end, it was very close, because the rear tires really went off, and we didn't want to have an exploding tire like some of the competition. So I took it carefully. Jurgen van Hover finished in 3rd. It was a great race, especially for the audience, for the spectators as well. I hope to follow Xavier and Jeffrey, but I had understeer in the Slotermaker corner. So I let them go because it was impossible to slipstream. And then there was pressure from Max van Sprunteren, and he managed to close the gap, and he managed to overtake me. But then he made a mistake in the schijfvlak, so I was back into third, and then now I saw Petronas behind me. I thought it was Jeffrey, it was something with Jeffrey. So he put me under pressure, and I tried to keep him as long as possible behind me. But then he was quicker than me, but I managed to keep him behind me. But in the end, and the Tarzan corner, a perfect move from him. And then just managed to hold on to third. So managed to third for Van Hover, then Maassen wins it from Van Hooydonk, Van Oost in fourth, and Ogujan in fifth. And then the teams are getting ready for the second race of 25 minutes. The other drivers of the cars getting ready. Final tactical discussions. Drivers fully focused by now. It's Carlos Rivas on pole for this second race over 25 minutes. Next to him is Koen Wouters on the front row. Second row is Mickey Bertram and Pierre Piron in the Allure Porsche. Here he is. And on the third row it's Nicolas van Dierendonck and Cenk Sakar. So another race over 25 minutes. Standing start. Drivers are getting ready. And here we go. Oh, that's a bad start from Carlos Rivas. And he's immediately overtaken by Mickey Bertram. And can Bertram overtake the other driver on the front row, Koen Wouters as well? Yes, there he goes. Bertram, perfect start from third to first. And another mistake there from Rivas. Let's take a look again at the start. There goes Bertram, passes Rivas. It's up next to Wouters. And then the sprint towards the Tarzan corner. Good move for Bertram, leading the race now from Wouters, Piron. And Rivas is in fifth, right behind Sakar. Rivas chasing Sakar now. Rivas well aware that he has to overtake the Turkish driver if he wants to keep up with the leaders. Bertram from Wouters. And Pierre Piron. The car he shares with Maassen, and Rivas is up to fourth by now, putting Piron under pressure. And here the battle for the challenge. The Mark 1 drivers. Oh, that was a small mistake there. Sven van Laarden, leader now in the challenge. In the speed lover Porsche. Bertram still leading from Wouters, then Piron, then Rivas. And Bertram still put under pressure by Wouters. Wouters will not be happy about that start. And here Rivas, he will be even less happy about his start. And maybe he has asked too much of his tyres because he has to let go Piron. Here's Van Dierendonck trying to pass Sakar. That's a great move by Nicolas Van Dierendonck. And now Sakar is put under pressure by his Turkish countryman Ogujan. Bertram, Wouters, and then there's a gap towards Piron. It's between these two leaders now. But I can't see where Wouters would overtake Bertram. He's driving a perfect race, Mickey Bertram. It's his home track, of course. And Carlos Rivas asked too much of his tyres in the beginning of the race. Oh, he passes Pierre Piron after all. Was that a mistake or was that a mechanical problem? Rick Renmans in the speed lover Porsche, second in the challenge. Well behind Sven van Laarden. The other speed lover Porsche. Mickey Bertram still leading. And here's Sakar still fighting with his teammate from Turkey. But they are behind Nicolas Van Dierendonck, who's in fifth now in the Thames Racing Porsche. Back to the leaders now, Mickey Bertram, Koen Waters, putting pressure on Mickey Bertram, but there isn't much time left. Let's drive with Waters. In his first season in the Porsche Cup, remember, only his second race weekend, has plenty of racing experience. The Belgian presenter and singer, but he can't manage to overtake Bertram. Good win for Mickey Bertram in the GT3.nl Porsche. Great win for Bertram from Waters and the team. Very happy as well, of course. There was a lot of pressure in the start. Yeah, well, at the start it was okay, but then in the end he came very close, so I had to push a bit further, but the tires were completely gone then. It was like driving on ice.
Soort van overleven, maar.
And Koen Waters, yeah, happy with second.
Koen
was a difficult start of the race. Yes, very difficult. I didn't have a good start. I was better than Rivas, but worse than the Dutch guy behind me. So I had to chase him immediately, and that was unfortunate because I had the impression that I was just a bit quicker than him, but not enough to attack him. So if I could have a good start, I don't think he would have overtaken me. Carlos Rivas, a bit disappointed about his start, of course. Problem was I didn't have a good start, so I couldn't follow him from the start. And then at the end I could manage to be at their speed, but then it was too late. So a win for Mickey Bertram. Koen Waters in second, Carlos Rivas in third, Van Dierendonck in fourth, and Cengiz Ogurcan in nice fifth place. That was it for part one. See you after the break. Welcome back in Zandvoort for the second round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Benelux. We've seen both 25-minute races. Now it's the 50-minute race where the two drivers share the same car. It's a mandatory driver change halfway through. And it's very hot in Zandvoort, and that's why tire supplier Continental gave the drivers an extra set of tires. Jeffrey will be very tough now. Yeah, very tough. We're at the seaside now, but there's no wind here. It's very hot. And Continental gave us an extra set of tires just to avoid to have tires exploding. So we'll see. It will be very tough.
Heel uit aan de finish te komen.
Max van Splunteren, fourth on the grid.
Wordt een moeilijke wedstrijd.
It will be a tough race now. Yeah, we're on P4 now. So let's see what we will do. We have to overtake some cars in the first part and try to manage the tires as well. So I hope to be able to give the car in a good position to Mickey. And Pirro and Marsen are third on the grid.
Ça va être très chaud, hein?
It will be very hot. Yes, it will be hot, but we're ready. We're here to win.
On va voir.
Let's see. And then the start of the race, with Koen Waters taking the start and Carlos Rivas next to him. And let's drive with Max van Splunteren and looking forward to the cars on the front row, and it's Rivas taking the lead from Waters, and Van Splunteren might gain a position by overtaking Pirro in the Tarzan corner. That's it, Rivas leading from Waters, then Van Splunteren. Rivas and Van Oost in fifth. Here's Olivier Van Oost trying to get the slipstream of the blue Porsche of Pierre Pirro. Waters has his hands full with Max van Splunteren. Same Porsche that he chased all during his 25-minute race is now right behind him. It's a different driver though. It's not Mickey Bertram yet, it's Max van Splunteren, the youngster that was a victim of an exploding tire in the opening race of the Pinkster Races weekend. And Van Splunteren building the pressure on Waters. He's very close to the Petronas Porsche. And look at the rear of that Porsche sliding everywhere. And that's a chance for Van Splinteren going on the outside, taking second away from Koen Waters. And will Waters be able to take his revenge, to retaliate and try to regain that second position? He's still very close behind the Yamaha Porsche. Rivas well in front by now. And the challenge. A good race again from Noël and Capras. It was Fred Capras taking the start. And Olivier Vanoz is now chasing Pierre Piron. That's for fourth position. Next to that blue Porsche now, but the Piron Porsche has the inside line. So Van Oost has to wait a bit. But he might launch an attack coming out of this corner. Battle between the Turkish drivers as well with Yadel Özkan and Arif Suyabatmas. Oh, and that was a close one for Suyabatmas. Managed to keep the car on the black stuff, but he has lost the position to Yadel Özkan. Koen Waters meanwhile had to let go Van Splinteren going into Schijfvlak. Owen has difficulties to keep the Porsche under control, and that looks like a puncture. That must have been a puncture on the left rear. Yep, the driver confirming that over the radio. And another puncture from 308, Cengiz Ogujan. That left rear tyre has some hard times here on the Zandvoort track, especially in these hot conditions. Rivas still leading from Van Splinteren. Yellow flag, safety car is out now. The Waters car is at the edge of the track, so that might cause a dangerous situation, but that means that Rivas has lost his lead completely. And that Van Splinteren is right behind him now. Piron still in third with Van Oost in fourth. And restart now, and not such a good restart for Max Van Splinteren. He had to let go Carlos Rivas. That's an opportunity lost for Van Splinteren. But Rivas makes a mistake there. So Van Splinteren didn't lose too much time. A good fight for the challenge honours between Capras and Grandjean. Rivas put under pressure by Van Splinteren. There isn't much time left to the mandatory driver change. And Pierre Piron is the first one coming in, giving the wheel of his Team Allure Porsche to Xavier Maassen, the winner of the first sprint race. And Maassen regains the track while Piron studies the tyres. It was hot, yes, it was very hot in the cars and on the track as well. It was a great fight. We were third on the grid. We came back in third as well. But we tried to save the tyres because it's a long race. And we didn't change the front tyres, so it's the key to win here will be tyre management. And Fred Capras giving the car to Yves Noël, and Capras has to recuperate from his efforts. It was hard. It was very hot in the car. It was very hard to concentrate because of the heat in the car. I think there were a couple of cars off as well. And I have difficulties to regain my breath here. I don't know how hot it is, but it must be very hot, 50-60 degrees. You lose a lot of fluids, and the sweat pours into your eyes, and you can hardly see it. Very hard, very special. And Rick Redmond's taking the wheel from the speed lover Porsche of Wim Mulders. In a good position in the challenge, might fight for the lead in the challenge division. And oops, that was not such a good restart for Redmonds. But there he goes, only a couple of seconds lost. And Mickey Bertram already getting ready to take over the car from Max Van Splinteren. Van Splinteren now leading because Rivas was held up by Maassen coming out of the pit lane. Van Splinteren coming into the pit lane in first position. Giving the wheel of the Yamaha Porsche to Mickey Bertram. Bertram who already won a race this weekend and he would love to make it 2. It was a good opening stint for Van Sprunteren.
Je was bezorgd om de
You were
start.
very worried about the start, but it went well. Yeah, the start went well. I passed one driver in the first corner, but then I had some difficulties with the first ones. But after the safety car, I didn't have a good restart. But then when Maassen hit and Rivas were fighting, I just took the advantage and overtook him, so I came into first position.
Ben ik eerste binnengekomen.
Olivier van Oost happy about his stint as well. How was your stint? Very hot, very hot. It was pretty interesting, very funny. The cars were close together, but it's difficult to overtake him, so I tried to manage the tires, waiting for a mistake of the others. But behind the safety car was a good occasion to let it cool down everything. But then we went hard after that. Mickey Bertram leading with Van Laden now fighting for the challenge honours. But Evenwell holds on to second. And Rick Rankmans and Wim Mulders win the challenge division. In front, Mickey Bertram has caught up with Jurgen van Hover. Bertram putting pressure on Van Hover, and it seems to me that the rear tyres of that Van Hover Porsche are gone, but he's still fighting hard with Bertram in the inside line, still holding on to the lead. Bertram next to Van Hover now. Can he overtake him? He's past him now, but I think Van Hover is still on the right hand side of our Porsche here. And Van Hover braking late, and that was too late. Bertram looking into the mirror, and he sees he's in front of Van Hover and in the lead of the long race of the second weekend of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge. Van Hover put under pressure now by Xavier Maassen. An excellent second stint for Maassen, and Maassen goes into second. And he might even try to go and get Mickey Bertram. Only a couple of laps left. And here's Nicholas van Dierendonk. And Van Hover is falls victim to him as well. Yeah, there's a problem with the tires on the Van Hover Porsche. Still he's in fourth for the moment. Back to the leaders. What's the lead of Mickey Bertram? I think it's only 1 or 2 seconds. Must be 2 seconds now. And we're in the penultimate lap. We're in the final lap now. Mickey Bertram looking in his mirrors. Xavier Maassen must be very close to him. We're coming out of the final corner. Where is Xavier Maassen? Looking in the mirrors everywhere. Looking to the left. There is Xavier Maassen coming next to us. And Xavier Maassen crosses the line in first position. He takes the lead in the final meters of this long race, and he wins the race by 600ths of a second. A great win for Xavier Maassen. Mickey Bertram second, and Nicolas van Dierendonk and Olivier van Oost in third.
Derde plaats.
Happy with a third? Yes, very happy, very happy. It was very exciting. What happened in the second part of the race? Well, I could follow Bertram, but then I saw Maassen come, but Rivas, Van Hover had problems with the tires. So I focused on my driving and to manage my tires, and that rewarded was with third place. Second position for Mickey Bertram, a bit disappointed. Yeah, I made a mistake in the photo, and then it was close to me. And then I thought, yeah, I can take risk, but we could go off, both of us. So I see at the finish, and he just overtook me just before the line. I didn't want to touch him, so... And a great smile for Xavier Maassen, a very happy man. That was very close. Yeah, this is the best way to win a race, isn't it? We won on Saturday, but it was pretty easy after the drive-through for Jeffrey. But then today I had to fight until the last meter. It's one of my best victories. This I overtook him in the last 5 or 10 meters. It's a great feeling.
Absoluut.
And a good win for Maassen and Piron. With Van Sprunteren and Bertram 56 thousandths of a second behind. Van Oost and Van Dierendonk in third. Rivas and Van Hover in fourth after all. And Chisakar in fifth. And champagne for the drivers on the podium. with Maassen now leading the championship. Here are the standings. Maassen leading, went very close behind. Rivas, Bertram, Van Hooydonk in 4th and Van Oost in 5th. And Wilders Renmans win the challenge division from Noël Capras and Grandjean van Laren.
Tevreden over die
Happy with your race?
Well,
Well, I was happy about race this morning, but the last race, no, not really. We had problems with the gearbox, and I had to avoid the Turkish driver. So, okay, I lost a lot of time. But then, better next time. That was it from Zandvoort. See you again next time.